Perfect, cool. So all the content marketing we've seen over the last couple of days and social marketing and so forth, what I'm going to do today is show you how we integrate everything and actually have created a product and a process to do all of, kind of bring it all together, if you will. So, you know, when you say WordPress for marketing, you know, most of us are going to go, duh, yeah, WordPress is for marketing in one form or another. It's either branding or marketing, a small business, big businesses, all that kind of stuff. But I want to change kind of how you think. And I'm going to start a little with our background and kind of lead into how we're trying to humanize WordPress. So like Andrew said, our Dealer Trend is our company. We are in the automotive niche. We do car dealer websites. And one of the big things with car dealers is they want to have SEO, they want to have all the things, they want to market themselves online. We created a plugin called Car Dealer Press, or a site called Car Dealer Press, where we actually provide that plugin to dealers to build their own websites and marketing companies. And then what I'm going to share with you today is called My Pages, okay, and how we brought all this content marketing together to actually get them to take action. So wanted to take it, we wanted to go beyond social media. And especially for brick and mortar. You know, one of the things I always talk to dealers about all the time, and just small businesses in general, is brick and mortar is not social. You can't have a person talking to a building. It's just, it doesn't work, right? We need people talking to people. And if you look at who's successful online, it's people. They're real people that we can connect with. They're niches that we enjoy. So the next step, so essentially we've all seen this happen. We've seen traditional media move into online, right, in a lot of ways. And then we've also seen word of mouth turn into social. Word of mouth is still extremely important when you market, but now the promise of social media, of the one to many, is huge, right? All businesses are looking, okay, how do I get one person to talk about me in front of their thousands of people? Right, like the newsjacking and so forth. We want to get in front of as many people as possible. So what I see as the next step, and we really need this in the car industry, and in most industries for that matter, is we want to integrate real relationships back into it. Right? We need to take the people and again humanize it a little bit better. Okay. So one of the things that when we started on this venture and trying to bring this all together, we realized, you know, obviously WordPress is a phenomenal problem solver. You know, it's an issue, problem, you know, however you want to do it. It can solve things for us. It can create our website. It can do the baseball schedule for our little league teams. It can do a lot of stuff. WordPress is a really cool tool. So we use WordPress to solve this problem, right? I mean, in the car industry, this is the problem. And it's not the salespeople themselves. It's the perception of the salespeople. You know, how many of you in the room have either had a bad experience buying a car or know somebody that has, right? It's probably 100%. And that perception is really bad for the car industry, and it's bad for a lot of industries. It's not, if you're not connecting with people, it's just hard to convert. You know, we're afraid when we walk onto the lot because, you know, 10 guys are going to come over. Can I help you? Right? And we know who those are right off the bat. Years ago when I was in the car business, I literally saw somebody come onto a car lot with binoculars, windows up, looking at window stickers as they went through the lot. That's how fearful they were of the car salesman, right? So I've seen that over time. It's crazy, but it's just what's going on. So we needed to inject the people back, and that's again what we're talking about. So what we did is we ventured out to create a website for each individual salesperson so that we could connect with them online. So we took the online marketing and we actually connected a person with a person, right? So you can actually choose your salesperson before you go in. You could actually communicate with them via forms and text and whatever other messages we could bring into that. So we had to create a product, right? And we had some objectives to create a product. And this has evolved over a couple of years. So this is the process we kind of went through. First of all, we had to create value for the dealers. Somebody had to buy it, right? We had to create a product that somebody would buy. Because we can't just build it and you know, throw them out there. It'd be great to be able to do it all for free, but that's just not the way it works. We had to create value. Then we had to make it helpful for consumers, right? We needed to take that anxiety out of you buying a car as a consumer, right, and connect those dots. We needed to make it easy to use. In the car industry, if you don't make it easy to use, it's a very reactive business. We needed to make it so easy that they would do it, and we need to motivate them to do it, right? So these are the things, again, over 2 years, we've tried things and just this iterative process that we've gone through. So starting with valuable for dealers. There are certain things that are valuable for dealers that we needed to integrate into this whole thing. Number one, SEO, it's huge. They needed the free organic search to work. Social media is obviously a big deal right now, right? Reputation management, and it's interesting because that's a big term in the car business right now, is reputation management, which I very much dislike because it implies that they're managing a poor reputation as opposed to creating one, right? Which is really what has happened in the car industry. So what we did is we've kind of gone to reputation creation. Right? And you'll see, I'm going to get to the process and how we linked all these together in a second. And then obviously mobile marketing's big, and none of it matters. If you've seen all the speakers over the last couple days, everything comes down to how do you get a conversion? How do you get somebody to engage? How do you get somebody to buy? Whatever your conversion is, that's the end. We've got an end result in whatever we do. Right? So that's super, super important in what we were doing. Helpful for consumers. Need I say more? I mean, this is what we had to overcome. We had to get that anxiety out. We had to keep, as car buyers, actually get this out of their head, right? We needed them to show up at the dealership excited to buy a car. It should be a fun experience, right? So we wanted to drive that. Easy to use. Once again, sales guy. We had to make it easy for this guy, right? It's it's so easy a salesman can use it, right? And then we needed to motivate them. So what we did to motivate them is we actually got into some gamification. I don't know if anybody is familiar with gamification. Foursquare is great for what gamification is. You get your badges and that kind of thing. We needed to simplify it and gamify it. And we know that there's two things that motivate salespeople: competition and money. So we needed to gamify that somehow and build that into everything we were doing. Okay, so I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit now and show you the process that we created to actually do all of those things. First of all, we know pictures are super important. Okay, you've seen it over the last couple days. Yesterday in the content, Instagram is huge, Pinterest is huge. We know how important that a picture is because we know that people are 53% more likely to share a picture than anything else. It's easy, especially if it's somebody that they know in the picture. So what we did is we started off at the point of sale. And say this is Kim. Kim is our example customer. She just bought a car. Maybe it's the first car she's ever bought on her own, right? She gets her car, she just bought her car, she's excited. The salesman goes over and takes a picture of her. Sit down, grab your keys, I'm going to take a picture of you. He takes that snapshot, okay? And then what he does is he goes to a web form. Easy. Remember, we're trying to keep it easy. We don't get them into the back end of WordPress at all. And using Gravity Forms and some other tools, we're able to just create a form that actually says, what's her name, what's her, where does she live, what car did she buy, and then upload the picture. Okay, once he's done that, he actually the salesperson will click submit. And in one click, essentially what we do is we syndicate that out. WordPress is phenomenal for syndicating content. We can use RSS to push it to Facebook, Twitter. We can actually post it to his site. We can post it to the dealer's main site, right? So we're creating content. All these testimonials and any content the salesperson creates actually goes right to that, okay? All with one click. And then the email we automatically send to the customer. And this is all stuff you can do on different levels too. So if you get testimonials for your own company or own client, you can definitely do these kind of things. So what we do is we send an email back out to Kim. Kim gets an email that says, hey, thank you for doing business with us. It was great to spend some time with you. And don't forget to share this particular link, right? And she clicks on the link, and guess where it takes her? It takes her to the salesperson's website, right? Of which, on that website, guess what we do? We put a whole bunch of share links on it, right? Because we want her to share the experience with her friends. It's the first picture she's got of her in her new car, right? So she's extremely excited about it. She's going to share it. So hopefully she'll go to Facebook. She'll click on the Facebook link, and it's a share link. So it literally opens up her page and scrapes the content and puts it in her page, right? So now she just took her experience with the business, in this case a car dealership, right, and put it on our Facebook page for all our friends to see. If they click on it, guess what happens? Takes them back to the salesperson website, okay? And this is her friend, so her friend can actually share it as well. And if you're familiar with SEO and what's happening with Google personalized search history, now that person has actually been on the website, right? So we're tying all these pieces together. We've got the content, we've got the SEO, we've got the familiarity that happens with having got them to the site in the first place. And then what we do is, again, all this is, I didn't use, I take that back. We built a couple plugins. Number one, our inventory plugin, which it's niche related, right? So that's one thing that we've got. And we actually built one other plugin for the gamification. But other than that, I used pretty much everything out of the box as far as plugins. So all this kind of stuff, tying it all together is very easy to do. The pictures are all SEO'd, okay, based off of the content that was originally put in the form. So nobody even has to think about it. It's all automated, okay? The post gets SEO'd. The page title's created, the URL's created, the description's created, and the content is priceless. I'll share one with you here in a second of the kind of content we're getting. The gamification. So what we did is we realized that salespeople have to compete, or we had to create some sort of competition for them to be excited to use this and motivated to use this. So what we did is on the home page of the dealer's main website, we take the top 3 salespeople based off of their activity over the last 90 days, and we push them to the top. And we do this throughout the sites in multiple places. We can do it on the blog, we can do it on their sales representative page, right? We can take the top 6, we can take the top 12, whatever it is, we can break it down. But on the home page, we do the top 3. And where this is important in the car industry, at least, is a car dealership website. We've all seen car dealer ads, right? They spend a lot of money on advertising. These car dealer sites get between 5,000 and 20,000 hits a month. For a salesperson to be in front of that kind of exposure, they're excited about it. And they get pumped, and they start doing the testimonials, and they start working it. So, and then you can actually just click on a salesperson and go right to that site. And on their own site, we've made it more about them, right? And just as a side note, all of this is done with multi-site. So each salesperson has their own multi-site, which is based off, is a subdomain of the dealer's main site. So if it's dealerabc.com, it's john.dealerabc.com. Again, SEO, right? It's all part of the same domain. So we're creating all this content within one domain. We've got his profile, his actual bio. You can tell a little bit about himself, link out to other things, create a video of him playing with his dog, his kids, whatever it is. We want to humanize it as much as possible. Then we also have links to his own Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other content. So you could actually click on it, click on his Facebook link, and see if you've got friends in common. Right? Because that's one of the things, commonality is huge, right? We want to link with people and become, hey, I know Bob, he knows Bob. Maybe I'll call Bob and see what he thinks about him. Should I buy a car from him or not, right? Then all his own reviews are on that, pictures. And then the next thing we did is we made it all responsive. In the car industry, there's only a handful of vendors right now, believe it or not, that have gone to responsive for their websites. They've got all this proprietary software that does everything. WordPress has made us very agile with this. So we've been able to actually mobilize all of this in one shape or form, right? So one of the things we've noticed is consumers are connecting with the salespeople on a one-to-one basis from their phones more than they're doing it from their desktops. Once you create that connection, just looking through the room, over the last couple days, or rooms the last couple days, everybody's on their phone, they're tweeting, and they're Facebooking, and they're doing all that kind of stuff. We're communicating with people with our phones, right? And this is one of the things that does that, or helps that. So this is one of our dealerships, and this is that's actually using this system. This, and it's amazing what's happened. I've been watching analytics on this. It's already ticking up. They're on pace. Their first full month using this program right now. They're on pace to do about 2,400 more visitors than they've done in the past, which that's huge. I mean, that's a 20%, 25% increase in what they've been doing. This guy on the far left here, he's on pace to sell well over 20 cars this month, right? Because now he's connecting with people, their friends are connecting, and the business is what's benefiting, but we've put the benefit back down on the salespeople as well. Everybody benefits. The consumer, the dealer, the salesperson, the whole thing, okay? This came in yesterday. I watch all the reviews as they come in. They all get directed to my phone. I just like to see what's happening, who's being active, who's not, kind of communicate with them as well. I call them up and motivate them a little bit myself as well. But this one I thought was priceless, right? You can't create this kind of stuff. The vehicle review is great. Safety for my grandson was awesome. But look at the salesperson review. He's my son. He takes care of his mother like a good son should. Wouldn't you buy from this guy? I mean, come on. I mean, this kind of, you can't make this stuff up. And they're doing it on a tablet. So we see misspellings and things like that. But I think that's great. It's real, right? And that's one of the things when you take a brick and mortar business and you try and make it real, you got to put the people in, right? And the people are the consumers. They're the salespeople. They're all these pieces, right? So you bring them all together. So that's essentially one of the reviews, right? And that's the presentation. You know what I'll do? I think I've got a couple minutes. I hope I'm not messing up. I'm going to go to this site itself. I don't know if this is going to work real well, but let's see. So basically, here's the site, and you see the salespeople at the top. I'm going to open this up. You've got a list of all the sales advisors. Help me not. Yeah, we'll go to the salesperson website. So the list of sales advisors is going to take, again, the top people. And what we've done with the plugin is we actually created, they sort to the top based off of the amount of activity they've done over the last 90 days. Okay, so we're saying, they can do video posts, they can do video walkarounds, they can do blog posts, or they can actually collect testimonials. Most of them are just doing the testimonials at this point, but we're starting to get a few of them do video walkarounds. And what's exciting with that is some of our dealers are actually doing things like, say you're a customer and you fill out a lead and you say, hey, I want to know more information about X car. They're actually going out onto the lot and doing a personalized walkaround of that vehicle, videoing the car and saying, here's the trunk, Mrs. Smith, check this out, the tires look like they're in great shape, going around, they're personalizing it, they're putting her name on it, putting it up on their site and emailing them the link. Right? So they're taking that extra step, they're using technology for what it can be. And this is all possible because of WordPress. Right? This is all of the pieces we've put in here are because of WordPress. And here's the blog. Here's one of the things from a content perspective. Every one of those pieces of content, remember, each salesperson has their own website, but the content is rolling up to the dealer's main blog. So now they're getting the benefits of all the SEO. So, and one of the other things we did too is just if a salesperson leaves, because there is some turnover in car dealerships, right? If a salesperson, yeah, here and there, right? So if a salesperson does leave, we actually redirect to a page that says, sorry, that salesperson's no longer here. Pick from one of our top 3. Right? It just automatically all happens. Right? We just archive the site out of multi-site, and it all just kind of rolls right up. So we never lose a customer. It's always benefit for the customer, right, is the idea. So I guess my time's up. Any questions? Here, let me get back up here.
First of all, it seems like a brilliant circle or loop. But my question is, there is built-in skepticism, obviously, about the car industry. And my skepticism is about the testimonials. Who actually inputs the testimonials? The salesman, right?
No, customer does.
Really?
So what the salesperson does is they've got like a tablet or some sort of device, right? And they take the picture and they put in the information. They say, hey, will you do me a favor? Will you write a few words about why you chose this vehicle?
That, I think, is the weak point. How do we know that that's authentic. I mean, I just think there's some built-in skepticism there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway.
and there is, and as time goes on and there's more and more of them, it gets to, especially if they're sharing it to Facebook, right? You can't crack that skepticism overnight in the car business. It's something they've had to compete with for years. It's a difficult thing.
Deception in that respect?
Not with this. Some car dealers in the past, they've done Google reviews, which they've bought a service to do Google reviews. You know, there's been a few that have done that. But the ones that are really authentic about it, we're pretty good at figuring that out as people. We've read so many reviews, especially things like, it's my son, right? That's pretty straightforward. We could, if you wanted to, you could look up her name. You'd probably find her on Facebook, right? As consumers, there's always going to be a little skepticism in any business. But like I say, we get misspellings, we get typos, we get all kinds of stuff that's real. So, yeah, it actually works out real well. She's getting, yeah.
Negative,
Hello.
What about negative reviews? I can tell you I drove from Truckee to Whole Motors in Carson City to look at an advertised Subaru Legacy, and I called before I left because it's like $40 in gas, and I got there and this guy, Jimmy Diamond or something, was some like Tahoe or Reno name.
Sure.
And he said, well, that one's gone, but we have another one, it's only $4,000 more. And he took my driver's license for some reason, I don't know why. But before I was gone, I felt like he should have been arrested for kidnapping. It was just horrible.
Yeah, and those kind of things still happen in the car business, unfortunately. And one thing I'll say, I've been in the car business for 20 years, right? There are bad apples, without a doubt. But there's a lot of really good people, too. And what's happening with this is we're starting to expose the good people. And my hope is that dealerships start to hire people specifically to work this system and not the old car dog, right, that does that kind of thing. Because that's the only way they knew how to sell cars. So this should change that as well. Right? So we're trying to, but there are negative reviews.
There's that talk with the manager where they go back and they're
Yeah.
back like 45 minutes later.
Yeah, there's certain things. The car industry is broken. I mean, the car industry is definitely broken, and as we communicate more as consumers, we actually hopefully will fix it. And this is one of my biggest desires with this whole thing is I want to change the car industry as it is known to us as consumers.
I really love the photo, the snap of the young woman in her car. But I'm wondering, and maybe I'm a little hyper-vigilant because I come from a field where confidentiality and privacy are extremely important. And it seems to me, and Facebook is my pet peeve with Facebook is the lack of privacy.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering where the line between exploitation and sharing is, like in a situation like that. Does that young woman know how widely her picture is going out? I mean, does she give permission for all those individual sharings that happen?
Yeah, that line is different for all of us. And what we're seeing as time goes on, this younger generation that's coming out right now, and there's so much transparency in their whole life. There is no line for them, right? We have a line still where this is all new, it's still uncomfortable to some degree, but they don't. So it really is, it's individual. And most of these people, keep in mind, hey, can I take your picture and put it on my site? They're all for it. Oh yeah, not a problem. Right.
Do they disclose then all of the distribution that's going to take place? I know on Facebook it took me hours to figure out exactly what I was doing and what the privacy settings meant.
Yeah, the salespeople are letting them know, hey, we're going to put it on our site, and we're going to put it on Facebook and that kind of thing. But keep in mind, once it's on the web, it's published. It's already everywhere, right? So I think that's kind of an implied, but they are telling them as well. Yeah, it is kind of a funny thing. That question comes up a lot, but like I say, the line's gone. It's changed.
Is this a great example of focusing on your niche and dominating your market? Is there any reason that Mike should go into creating websites for museums or anything else? No. Focus on your niche.
Yeah, really focus. We have a lot of people that actually ask us to do their websites for them. That's out of our niche, and we just have to turn it down because there's just so much work to be done in what we do anyway.
Mike Fitzpatrick.